A lot of time is still left for 2022 to end, and I know that many more movies are about to release, even mainly the great ones, they always get out late. Yet there were so many movies from this year that impressed me a lot, and also so many that did not. We can be friends on Letterboxd if you have an account there and share each other's love for movies. I won't try to be overly critical here, but just going to look practically toward the movies that impressed me the most this year.
I couldn't care less.
I watched 22 films this year so far, which is a lot less, but still pretty even to get the 10 best out of them. You tell me what's your favorite film of the year in the comments, and before that, just start the video.
Let's go, boy! Yeah!
Number 10, Triple R. Despite the fact that there are so many aspects of Triple R that I could criticize for it is so hyped, especially from the political aspect of how it glamorizes the religion fueling the current political state of the country, and it is even sadder that this is a film got international praise unlike any other Indian film ever, but I can't deny how great the action sequences here was. No one can do it like S.S. Rajamouli. Even though in the case of Bahubali series I failed to connect, it was the exact opposite in the case of Triple R, despite both of them being equally overly unrealistic. As for Triple R, they successfully made it believable, and also the friendship story was too good and well written. It was gripping, and despite having not been a fan of the Ram glorification scene in the third act, this film is quite right. Number 9, Fresh. When I went into Fresh, I knew nothing of what it was about, and that was the best thing about it, I guess. And I think if you haven't seen this film, you better not know anything about it either and skip this part from the time span if you want. Fresh tells the story of a normal girl who can't find a perfect date. One day she finds a pretty handsome and cool dude in a supermarket and starts a close relationship with him. And later sometime he asks her to go on a trip with him only to abduct her and sell her meat in the People Who Eat Humans.
I'm gonna sell you meat.
Well, people like that do exist if you have surfed into the dark web. So this film was not at all unrealistic horror film, despite the structure being pretty cliched. However, it was creepy. It crawled under my screen for its idea of bringing cannibalism into such a modern world with modern characters that I think never a film had done so fine in such a typical yet scary way.
I'm taking your ass.
Number 8, Not Okay. Not Okay was a teen drama, and with all the expectations, this did not escape being cringy from time to time, but I loved the idea of it and related to it on so many levels. Trying to be perfect and having a hidden desire to show up in front of the vast world of the internet is so truthful. Even though no one might do what the character of the film did, faking going to Paris and then also faking being in a terrorist attack, but still the desire to show off on social media is not so uncommon. Not Okay hit that idea well, and sometimes I love watching films such as this that are very easy to comprehend and do not take much energy, yet somehow makes me relate to them at some levels.
I think I can handle like one troll on Twitter.
Number 7, Chacha Real Smooth. Chacha Real Smooth is about a young boy in his 20s who can't figure out what to do in his life. He meets with a woman with an autistic teenage daughter and enters on a journey of self-realization. Much like the previous film of the director Shithouse, which was about a college freshman struggling to fit in living alone, Chacha Real Smooth 2 reflects that tiring struggle of not being able to find a goal in life.
You don't even know who you are yet.
I loved a lot how it ended and how it represented the characters, which have become cliched by now in mainstream cinema, yet felt so refreshingly touching. Chacha Real Smooth for me was a sweet treat, and I think everyone can find something of it more or less. It is a beautiful film. Number 6, Watcher. Watcher could have just been another female-centric survival movie from Hollywood, but for a lot of reasons it's not. It crept into me for its outstanding slow pace that I demand from almost every single horror movie ever. Watcher is about a married couple who moves to Romania from America, and moving into their new apartments, the woman witnesses a figure watching her from the front balcony. As time goes by, it grows more extreme, for the man even starts following her in the street, yet her husband doesn't believe in her. Pretty obvious from a horror film, but the pace and the storytelling of this film bury every single criticism that I could have of it. This I found to be fascinating from beginning to the end. Number 5, Gangubai Kathiawadi. Not only it was just a visual treat, but also was an entertaining ride throughout. I experienced it in the cinemas, and I think it was for the better. The energetic drama in it was its action. It was the tale of a real-life prostitute who was sold to a brothel at a very young age and later grew up to be the leader of the prostitutes and fought for their rights in an extremely patriarchal society. This is easily one of the most well-performed movies of 2022 that I have seen so far. It is passionate and swiftly melodramatic. The cinematography here was tempting. The lead character's seductive characteristics seemed to fit with the visuals of the movie, and it baffled me more than anything else in the film, to be honest. Number 4. Decision to Leave. South Korean thrillers have a different fan base. Decision to Leave has all the elements to impress that fan base. Made by the director of The Handmaiden and Old Boy, Decision to Leave's story is pretty straightforward than the previous two. It talks about a detective who, while investigating the surprising death of a mountain climber, suspects his peculiar wife and starts spying on her while simultaneously falling in love.
이거 뭐 콩콩 만나고.
그래도 예뻤어요.
Park Chan-wook's direction is outstanding. Although this kind of mystery drama is not unique, for there are so many movies with such characters, it's the director that gives it a unique look. I had some fun watching this. I laughed so much in this movie that I don't know which other film made me so in recent memory. It could have been less longer for my taste, but I don't blame it for how entertaining this was for me. Number 3. X. Now, this is the most fun I had watching any other movie released this year. X was a ride filled with extreme enthrallment. I wouldn't claim it to be some kind of original piece of work, for it is just yet another slasher film, but here is something so hilariously dark about it. It talks about a group of friends who visits a remote place to shoot porn where lives the creepy old couple who seems dangerous from the very beginning, but not to all of them, and eventually they turn out to be much more vicious than they expected. X, as one can probably imagine, is filled with sex, blood, violence, nudity, gore, and everything that comes with them. It all compels me more than anything when well done, which is rare for such films, and X successfully claims that rare trait.
Because one day, we're gonna be too old to fuck.
And life's too short if you ask me.
Number 2. Top Gun Maverick.
Greetings, aviators. Lights on.
Not only was Top Gun Maverick a well-made action feature, but also it was an emotionally nostalgic journey. For a film that had broken a lot of box office records, there is hardly anything new to say about this. Everything is already said. And I could talk about my experience, but it's been the same as most people out there. I didn't like the original Top Gun for all obvious reasons. It was boring and so eventless, yet somehow this film, following the storyline of the previous one and carrying them throughout, was surprisingly worthwhile. The performances here was great, and the characters were written in such a humanistic tone they felt so close to heart. The action sequences, as you may imagine, was near perfect and thrilling. It has its flaws, for its score is fight, war and guns, all of which we must condemn, but I couldn't care.
I'm where I belong, sir.
Number 1. Broker. This South Korean drama tells the story of two church workers who steal babies from the church box where people leave their unwanted children and later sell them on the black market for adoption. When a woman leaves her baby in the box but returns afterwards, she does not find her baby. Although the two workers find and harmonize with her, and she unites with them by selling the child to someone deserving. Movies like Broker usually hit me hard. They possess such real characters that it is hard for me to not care for them as if they are not a part of mine.
혜진아, 태어나줘서 고마워.
The director Hirokazu Koreeda is one of my all-time favorites, whose films Shoplifters, Still Walking or Like Father Like Son gave me the same incredible experience Broker gave. The feelings these films deliver me are so hard to articulate in words, but the most I can say is this is my favorite film of 2022 and hope that expresses everything. So that was the video. Check some other videos on this channel, hit that subscribe button, and until then that's just it, and thanks for watching.